Have you ever looked at an Aries and thought, how do they do it? How do they wake up every morning so full of energy, so confident, like nothing in this world can break them? But here's a secret. What you see on the outside is only half the story. Because behind that unstoppable energy, behind that fearless smile, there's a hidden world of emotions, doubts, and fears. A side of Aries almost no one ever talks about. Yes, Aries are bold. Yes, they're independent. But have you ever wondered why they're always running towards something? Why they can't stand sitting still for too long? Or why they act like they don't need anyone? But deep inside, they long to be understood. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey, a deep dive into the mind of Aries. We're going to explore the hidden layers that make this zodiac sign so magnetic and yet so misunderstood. I promise, by the end of this video, you'll never look at an Aries the same way again. So, if you're curious about what really drives Aries, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone who needs to understand the fire behind the Aries soul. Are you ready? Let's begin. Have you ever noticed how Aries seem to constantly push forward, like they're chasing something invisible? It's easy to think they're just naturally energetic, naturally confident. But the truth is much deeper than that. Aries carry inside them an unconscious drive to prove they exist. Not to others, but to themselves. Being the first sign of the zodiac, Aries symbolizes beginnings, the start of life itself. And like a newborn baby cries out to announce its arrival in the world, Aries too spends their life trying to affirm their own presence. Every achievement, every risk they take, every decision to stand up and fight, it's all part of this deep psychological need to say, I'm here, I matter. They may not even realize they're doing it, but it's there, in every action. And yet, while Aries looks so independent, so fearless, there's a paradox. They avoid showing vulnerability at all costs. For them, asking for help or admitting they're struggling feels like failure, not because they think they're better than others, but because they're afraid of losing control. They've built their identity around strength, around being the person who doesn't break. So letting someone in, showing weakness, feels like risking everything. It's not that they don't want closeness, it's that they're scared of what might happen if someone sees the cracks beneath their armor. Many Aries end up walking through life, carrying this silent loneliness, craving connection, yet not knowing how to let their guard down. Think about the Aries you know. Maybe they've been pushing people away without even realizing it. And then there's something few people ever talk about: the constant action, the endless movement. On the surface, it looks like energy, like passion. But what if I told you it's actually fear? A fear of stopping, of standing still. Because for Aries, stillness feels like stagnation, and stagnation feels like death. Their mind equates movement with survival. So they keep going. They chase new projects, new ideas, new people, not always because they want to, but because slowing down would mean facing their own inner doubts. Picture the Aries friend who's always busy, always planning something, always one step ahead. That's not just ambition. That's their way of staying ahead of the voice in their head that whispers, "Are you doing enough? Are you good enough?" And this brings us to the most misunderstood part of Aries, their confidence. Everyone sees Aries as the confident leader, the one who walks into a room and owns it. But what if I told you that confidence is often just a mask, a carefully crafted shield? Deep down, Aries are terrified of failing, terrified of not being good enough. Every bold decision they make, every risk they take, is not just for the thrill. It's their way of fighting back against that hidden fear. If you've ever seen an Aries push themselves too hard, take on too much, or refuse to ask for help, now you know why. Behind that fearless smile is a fragile inner child, desperate to feel worthy. But here's the most beautiful part. Aries don't let those fears stop them. They carry them, quietly, and they keep moving forward anyway. That's why they're inspiring, not because they're fearless, but because they act despite the fear. So, the next time you see an Aries chasing a dream, leading a team, or taking a leap into the unknown, remember, you're not just witnessing strength, you're witnessing courage, and that, perhaps, is the real power of Aries. Not the confidence they show the world, but the silent battles they fight every single day, and the choice they make to keep going, no matter what. Aries are often seen as competitive, but the reason behind that competition isn't what most people think. It's not about proving others wrong. It's not about showing off. Deep down, Aries compete because they need to prove something to themselves. Every challenge they take on, every goal they set, is like a personal test. A quiet question they're constantly trying to answer. Am I enough yet? Winning for Aries isn't about the prize. It's about the reassurance. That small moment when they can finally breathe and say, I did it, I'm okay, I'm worth something. But of course, that feeling doesn't last long. Soon, another goal appears, another mountain to climb. Aries live in this endless cycle of chasing their own self-worth. And unless they learn to slow down and appreciate who they already are, they risk burning out in the pursuit of something they've actually had inside all along. Have you ever seen an Aries make a sudden decision, like booking a spontaneous trip, or quitting a job out of nowhere, or ending a relationship overnight? People might say they're reckless, but their impulsiveness has a deeper cause. Aries don't act on impulse because they're careless. They act fast because they feel life slipping through their fingers. Every moment feels like it's now or never. Their mind is wired to grab opportunities before they disappear. It's a subconscious fear that if they hesitate, they'll miss something important. So they choose action, even when it's risky, even when it scares them, and sometimes, even when they know it might hurt. For Aries, regret comes not from mistakes, but from missed chances. That's why slowing down feels like torture. It's not that they don't think about consequences, it's that for them, the pain of hesitation feels worse. But life for Aries isn't just about control. In fact, one of their biggest inner battles is between control and chaos. Sometimes they need everything in order. Their schedule, their work, their goals. Everything organized, everything predictable. But then, without warning, they'll destroy their own routines. They'll break their own rules. Because inside, Aries swing between needing structure and craving freedom. Too much control makes them feel trapped. Too much chaos makes them feel lost. So they oscillate, back and forth, trying to find a balance that always seems just out of reach. You might see an Aries working 12 hours a day for months, then suddenly vanish on a road trip with no plan. That's not inconsistency, that's their soul trying to breathe. If you love an Aries, let them find that balance without judgment. Let them control what matters, but also let them run when their spirit needs to escape. And in those moments when Aries feel overwhelmed, they instinctively turn to nature. Not everyone notices this, but for Aries, being outdoors isn't just a hobby. It's healing. Nature reconnects them to something they can't find in the noise of everyday life. Standing on top of a mountain, walking through a quiet forest, or even sitting by the ocean, those moments bring Aries back to themselves. In nature, they remember who they are. They remember their strength, their worth, their freedom. For a few peaceful moments, the inner critic goes silent. The pressure disappears. They don't have to prove anything to anyone. They just exist. And that's enough. So if you know an Aries who's struggling, who's feeling trapped in their own mind, suggest a hike. A simple walk outside. It might seem small to you, but for them, it could be the lifeline they need to recharge their spirit and find their way back to themselves again. Aries spend their lives caught between proving their worth and learning to accept themselves. Their competitive heart, their impulsive choices, their constant dance between control and chaos, and their silent healing in nature. All of these are not random traits. They're connected. They're all part of the same inner story. The story of a soul trying to feel safe in a world that never slows down. And yet, as complex as these struggles are, the journey of Aries doesn't end here. In fact, the most powerful, most controversial truths about Aries are still waiting to be revealed. Because in the next part of this video, we'll uncover the hidden loneliness behind their leadership, the secret reason why Aries spend money so freely, and the real story behind their perfectionism, a battle that even they may not fully understand. Stay with me. What you're about to hear might change the way you see every Aries in your life. Aries are known for being leaders, strong, decisive, fearless, but what most people don't see is the loneliness hidden behind that leadership. When you're the one everyone looks to for answers, who do you turn to when you're lost? That's the quiet struggle of Aries. They lead because they're good at it, yes, but also because deep inside, they crave validation. They want to be seen. They want to matter. Every time they take charge, every time they stand alone, it's not just confidence, it's a silent plea to be recognized. But leadership can be isolating. People expect Aries to always have it together, always know the way. So even when they feel unsure, they keep the mask on. And over time, that mask becomes heavy. If you have an Aries in your life who always seems strong, maybe it's time to ask them how they're really doing. Not the surface answers, the real story behind their eyes. Because chances are, they've been waiting for someone to notice. And then there's something few people associate with Aries, their relationship with money. On the outside, they might seem careless, quick to spend, ready to indulge, but the truth is more emotional than financial. Aries spend not because they're reckless, but because money, to them, means freedom. It's not about saving every penny for an uncertain future. It's about experiencing life now, feeling alive now. Aries have this deep-seated belief that happiness shouldn't be postponed. They'll buy the ticket. They'll book the adventure. They'll treat themselves even when others would hesitate. And while yes, that sometimes leads to financial stress, it also teaches a valuable lesson, that life is short, and moments matter more than numbers in a bank account. Of course, finding balance is important. If you're an Aries, remember, investing in joy is beautiful, but investing in peace of mind is too. You deserve both. Now, let's talk about something that defines Aries in ways few people realize. Their respect for time. Aries are almost always on time. In fact, many of them show up early. To meetings, to dates, to commitments of all kinds. This isn't just about politeness. For Aries, honoring time is honoring their personal integrity. They see being late as breaking a silent promise. It's disrespect not just to others, but to themselves. Every minute matters. Every second is part of their purpose. And when they say they'll be somewhere, they mean it. This discipline with time isn't always easy to understand from the outside, but it's a core part of how Aries view life. Time is their most precious resource, and showing up on time is their quiet way of saying, "I'm serious about this. I'm serious about you." It's one of the reasons why Aries can seem so professional, so trustworthy, without even trying. They're not just respecting your schedule, they're respecting your worth. And yet, despite all this discipline, there's another side to Aries that few people fully grasp. Their perfectionism. People often assume Aries are reckless, impulsive, but beneath that bold surface is someone who wants everything to be just right. They push themselves harder than anyone else does. They set high standards not to impress others, but to silence their own inner critic. Each perfect result, each flawless project, each finished goal is proof to themselves that they're good enough. But perfectionism is exhausting. It's a never-ending race, because no matter how perfect something seems, Aries will find the flaw. They'll see where they could have done more, and instead of celebrating their success, they'll focus on what they missed. If you're an Aries listening to this, remember, progress matters more than perfection. Celebrate the small victories. Let go of the need to constantly prove your worth through flawless results. You're allowed to be human. And you're enough, even when things aren't perfect. When we look at these struggles together, the loneliness behind leadership, the emotional reasons behind spending, the strict respect for time, and the hidden battle with perfectionism, we start to see the real Aries. Not the fearless warrior people assume, but a soul navigating a complex world, carrying silent battles, and choosing to show up every day anyway. And yet, there are still deeper truths waiting to be uncovered. Because, in the final part of this video, we're going to explore the emotional core of Aries relationships, the vulnerability they hide beneath their confidence, and the reason their most passionate love stories are often the most misunderstood. What comes next might challenge everything you thought you knew about Aries. Stay with me. The real story is only just beginning. Aries are known for their confidence. It shines through everything they do. But what many people don't realize is how much of that confidence is carefully built. It's not something they're always born with. It's something they create, piece by piece, every single day. Aries believe in themselves because they have to, because not believing would be too painful. Each time they step forward boldly, it's not just bravery, it's a conscious choice to trust their own voice. Even when doubt lingers in the background, they carry themselves like they know where they're going, but inside, they're often asking the same questions we all do. Am I enough? Am I doing the right thing? Confidence, for Aries, is not arrogance. It's survival. It's how they protect their dreams from the world's judgments. And that's why they can seem impulsive, even reckless. But that impulsive spirit is something deeper. It's a refusal to let fear dictate their choices. Aries know life can change in a heartbeat. So when they feel that spark, when an opportunity appears, they leap. Not because they're careless, but because waiting feels like suffocating. Of course, this impulsive nature sometimes leads them into trouble. They might regret a decision later. But for Aries, regret over a missed chance hurts more than regret over a mistake. And maybe there's something to learn from that. Maybe sometimes taking the leap even when you're scared is what leads you forward. Aries remind us that not every choice needs endless analysis. Sometimes the heart knows before the mind does. At the same time, Aries aren't just thrill seekers. They crave newness, yes, but they also build routines to feel safe. It's a strange balance. On one hand, they love structure. It gives them control, a sense of purpose. But too much routine? It suffocates them. Aries need freedom like they need air. That's why they'll sometimes break their own habits just to feel alive again. They'll change jobs, explore new places, or dive into new hobbies, not because they're unstable, but because their soul craves discovery. If life feels too predictable, they lose energy. For Aries, stability must coexist with adventure. So, if you're close to an Aries, understand that their need for change isn't rejection, it's survival. Let them explore without guilt. Let them grow beyond the paths they've already walked. And in those moments of crisis, when life throws problems at them, something magical happens. Aries become calm. You'd expect chaos, right? Panic. But no, Aries know how to face problems with a relaxed mind. It's not that they don't care, it's that their instinct tells them panic doesn't solve anything. When something breaks, Aries fix it. When a door closes, they look for a window. Their natural confidence allows them to think clearly, even when others around them freeze. This doesn't mean they don't feel stress. They do. But instead of letting it control them, they focus on solutions. And this is where their real strength shines. Not in their energy, not in their speed, but in their ability to pause, breathe, and act wisely when it matters most. Think about the Aries in your life. Maybe they've handled crises in ways that left you surprised. Calm, but firm. Focused, but adaptable. That's not luck, that's their survival strategy. Problems don't scare Aries. They challenge them, they give them purpose, and that's something worth admiring, and maybe even learning from. So, as we begin to understand Aries more deeply, we see they are far more complex than their image suggests. Behind every confident step, behind every impulsive choice, behind every craving for adventure, behind every calm solution in the face of trouble, there's a heart that's learning, growing, and trying to balance freedom with stability, passion with peace. But don't think for a moment that we've reached the heart of their story yet, because in the next part of this video, we're going to uncover the final 3 truths, and these may be the most emotional, the most controversial, and perhaps the most important revelations about Aries you'll ever hear. Stay with me, the ending will surprise you. And now, we arrive at something most people never see in Aries, the side hidden even from their closest friends. Beneath all that boldness, all that strength, lies a vulnerability they rarely speak about. Aries might seem fearless, but inside, they carry insecurities they don't want anyone to see. They worry they're not good enough. They fear failure more than they let on. But instead of showing it, they cover it up with confidence. They push forward, they smile, they lead, all while battling doubts quietly, in their own mind. This hidden layer makes them even more human, even more beautiful, because it takes real strength to keep moving forward when fear walks beside you. Aries show us that courage isn't about having no fear, it's about taking action even when fear whispers in your ear. Maybe next time you meet an Aries, try looking past their confidence and remind them it's okay to slow down, to be vulnerable, to ask for help. Sometimes they just need someone who understands that the strongest people can carry the heaviest doubts. And when it comes to relationships, Aries are often misunderstood. People see their passion, their intensity, the way they throw themselves completely into love, but what they don't see is why. Aries don't love halfway. They love all or nothing, and that kind of love can be terrifying. Their arguments, their strong emotions, it's not about control or drama, it's about care. Aries fight when they care. They argue when they feel deeply, because for them, silence means indifference. But passion means connection, and they're willing to risk conflict if it means keeping the relationship alive. It's not always easy being loved by an Aries. Their fire burns bright, sometimes too bright, but it's real, it's raw, and it's honest. If you're with an Aries, know that their intensity is not a warning sign. It's proof of how much they value you. Aries teach us that real love isn't always soft. Sometimes it's loud. Sometimes it challenges you. But in the end, it's a love that fights, not to hurt, but to hold on. And now, as we reach the end of this journey, what does it all mean? Aries aren't just a sign of energy and confidence. They're a complex soul, balancing strength and doubt, independence and hidden loneliness, impulsive passion and deep emotional need. Behind every decision they make, every risk they take, and every relationship they cherish, lies a heart trying to be seen, trying to be understood. Maybe now, you can see them more clearly. So, if you've recognized yourself in this video, or someone you love, remember this: you are not alone, and neither are they. If today's story made you feel something, if it helped you understand Aries more deeply, then please, subscribe to the channel. Share this video with a friend who might need to hear these words, and leave me a comment about your own journey. I read every single one. There's so much more waiting for you. More signs to explore, more stories to uncover, and more truths hidden in the stars. Stay curious, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video.